Gen X doesn't care about anything. There's a reason why people say that Gen X doesn't care about anything, and it's because it's true. Gen X simply does not care. They were going to be discussing the exact reasons of why Gen X doesn't care and how Gen X became this way and what it truly means to be a Gen Xer. And this is the reason why Gen Z needs to watch out, because if they keep running their mouths, Gen X will eventually step up. Today's video comes from Grace, and his channel will be linked in the description so that you can check him out and support his content. Watch it as a video to fully understand the implications of waking up Gen X and what that could mean for society. And now, also check me out on Rumble. Link in the description of the video, because you never really know what will happen on this platform. So go ahead and follow us over there. And finally, before we get started, I just want to remind you guys that a lot of things are now happening around us, and it is more important than ever for you to diversify and hedge your bets. So with that said, the financial system is on the brink of collapse. ATMs will freeze. Banks will lock their doors. Your wealth is at risk. Learn how to protect your assets with crypto. Angry's Crypto Academy will teach you to buy, sell, trade, and invest in the safest coins. Don't wait until it's too late. Secure your future today. There is only 1 day left to save 30% off all plans at Angry's Crypto Academy for our Trump's Inauguration Day sale, which ends January 20th at 11:59 p.m. Click the link in the description to join. And now let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
Well, first of all, even if we were involved, we wouldn't care.
Gen X. How did you guys do it? How did you stay out of the generational hate?
Well, first of all, even if we were involved, we wouldn't care. Gen X really is the last generation where all of us unanimously can agree that we embraced the FAFO lifestyle. And it's because we were wild and feral in our childhood. We were latchkey kids. We were basically like Lord of the Flies. We would ride around our towns and neighborhoods on our 10 speeds like we were little nomad bikers. It kind of was like Sons of Anarchy. I mean, you'd ride around with your own little group until you came across another little group, and they'd either get patched over and become part of your group, or it was time for a turf war. Problems were settled, and we didn't have to get our parents involved. If you played sports, there were clear winners and losers, even though our social group was pretty much like the Breakfast Club. It was just a whole bunch of social butterflies hanging out together. Jocks and goths and preppies and bookworms, we'd had everybody. And if you grew up like I did and you were the younger sibling who just got to tag along, you now had a whole group of friends by proxy. Now, it wasn't like how our parents grew up in the 60s and 70s with the peace and love movement and the hippies. No, during Gen X, as we were growing up, we understood that, yeah, there was peace and love, but respect is a hands-on kind of thing. And yes, everybody deserves to be respected until you give them a reason not to. And the reason why Gen X now is so quiet is because for us, we've seen the system fail multiple times. We're all kind of forced to grow up quick. We wanted to move out. We didn't want to live in our parents' house when we were 30. That was embarrassing. We wanted to get a job. We wanted to make money. And we understood that if you wanted something, you had to earn it. That's why we can't really connect with the youngers, is because, yes, we understand that the prices have gone up, but this idea that it was easy for us, it doesn't work. We can't really connect with the upper generation because, yeah, they're our parents and we have respect for them and we followed their rules, but we also see that their rules didn't really work out for them either. Gen X has stayed quiet and has learned how to push through because just like our childhood and our young adult years, we've realized that nobody is coming to help you. The system is not going to come and bail us out. See, we're old enough to realize to stay out of the political game because right wing, left wing, it doesn't matter. We've seen them all. It's the same wings on the same bird. We've been around for both Democrat and Republican candidates, have seen good and bad, and we realize that not much has changed, so we just keep our mouth shut. It really goes back to that leave us alone and let us do what we want to do mentality. And I think the reason that most of us now don't get involved, why we stay out of this generational war, is because we are kind of doing our own thing. I think the reason now we don't play the game is because, well, we've set our roots and we know where we set. We see that it's not working out great for this younger generation, and it's not really working out great for the older generation. So we will be the learning trees. We'll take from both sides, and we will be the oak that this country needs. Yes, because Gen X is quite possibly the nuclear option. You don't call upon Gen X to ask questions. You call upon Gen X to get a solution.
Guys, what he says is so very true. So basically, Gen X is the mess around, find out generation. Gen X, to be clear, just wants to be left the hell alone. Gen X lived very dangerous lives. I've talked about this where there's so many things that I went through. I shouldn't be here right now. Like Gen X often says, we're the ones who survived. And I look back at my childhood and I look back at all the things I passed through, and I realized that the baby boomers were a terrible group of individuals. They really did not want their kids. It's very easy for people to say, oh, they wanted you to succeed. That's why they told you to get out of the house. No, they didn't. These are people who did not want children. Let's make it very clear. The boomers did not want children. The reason they had kids is because they were smashing without rubbers. That's the reason why they had kids, because they were extremely irresponsible and they were getting money from their parents and they were getting money from society. And when they wanted more money, they just voted for people that would, give them all of this free stuff in exchange for selling out our futures. I've said this already that the boomers sold our futures while we were still in diapers, and I stick by that point. They are the worst generation in the history of the world. And ironically, they're also the wealthiest generation in the history of the world. The baby boomers will have you believe that they earned every single thing that they have, and they worked harder than every other generation in history. And that's the reason why they're so wealthy. And even then, it's still not enough for them. No, they stole everything. They stole our futures. They stole their parents' assets and resources. They stole our country and they stole this world. And one of the reasons why Gen X stays out of it is because they don't care. Do you know how many people have passed away in my life? Guys, I have, from the time I'm 41, I'll be 42 this year. I've lost, I've lost a sibling. I have no living uncles left. I have, I'm just like laying it out, you know, many of like, the family members that I grew up with, they're gone. Friends that I grew up with, they're gone. And it's not like, and when I say this, I'm just trying to like be clear. Like I'm one of the lucky ones. Like I still have some family, right? Even though I'm not close to them. There are so many Gen Xers who will attest to this, and they may talk about it in the comments. Like they'll tell you like 15 people, like everyone they went to school with, like everyone that they grew up with, like that they were friends with in high school. They've all passed away. Like we're talking like 15, 20 people, all gone, all gone. It is not uncommon for a Gen Xer to be able to tell you that like anywhere from 50 to 100 people that like in their immediate circle, we're talking about friends, family members, all these people, they're all gone. So many people that we grew up with, they're no longer here. That's why Gen X says, they're the ones who survived. Gen Z is a weak generation. All they can do is run their mouths and they're not prepared for the world. That's why they're rapidly being put out. And the thing is that the world doesn't care about you. The world does not give two cahoots about you. It's a miserable, awful, and evil, vindictive world that we live in. And if you don't learn how to adapt quickly, you will be torn to shreds by it because no one is coming to save you. A lot of women in Western society today, they seem to think that they're going to get bailed out. A lot of people don't rationalize that with the election of Trump, a lot of feminists voted for Donald Trump. It's a freaking fact. It's statistical. All right. A lot of feminists voted for Trump because they realized that we had reached a point where now they were going to begin losing all the ill-gotten gains that they received because the left had gone so far left that now it was working against the well-being of women. So now they're thinking that they put Trump back in and they're going to be able to hold on to all the power and all the privileges that they've received while continuing to shirk responsibility and accountability and pushing those on to men. Do not forget this, guys, that how do I put this? Responsibility without authority is slavery. And that's what's happened to men today in Western society. That's why so many Gen Xers know that, you know, Gen Xers, they respected authority, but they never trusted authority because they know that at the end of the day, these people are not your friends. They don't care about you. And one of the most dangerous things you can ever hear coming out of the mouths of a public official is that I'm here to help. I'm telling you right now. All right. Guys, in my life, I am very cautious when it comes to people who say, "Oh, I'll help." All right, because the truth is that they have everything to gain. That's how these parasites operate. Okay? It's much easier to get someone to accept your help than it is to ask someone for help. And people are way too willing to accept help from others, not realizing that these people all have an incentive and all want something from you. Gen X is the last group of people who can stand up to tyranny in Western society as well. They're the last group of people that have proper interpersonal skills and can actually relate to others and have common sense and can read situations. We actually have another video from Gen X Thinks, and his video is actually titled "Why Doesn't Gen X Care?" And he basically goes a bit further into the situation with Gen X and the notion that they don't care and why they absolutely don't care. And it makes a lot of sense because Gen X has gone through so much that really they just want their peace right now. And by golly geez, they're going to get it.
Hey everybody, this is Jesse again with another edition of Gen X Thinks. Today we're going to talk about something that is a generalization about Generation X. All right, everybody feels like we don't care. We don't give a crap about anything. And there's a reason for that. And that reason is what this video is about today. More than one reason, but as I go on, you'll begin to understand. As you look back, we were the first generation to grow up with an apocalypse looming every day of our lives. From the time we were born, there was nuclear war on the horizon. The world was going to end any time. That people were putting bunkers in their backyards and bomb shelters and all this stuff. And then it was this hole in the ozone layer was going to burn everybody up, and skin cancer was going to kill everybody. And we had to wear all this extra SPF sunscreen just to go outside. And there was no, the sun was just going to destroy everything because this hole in the ozone layer was just growing rapidly and it couldn't be stopped and all this, and it was going to destroy everything. So we were afraid of that. And then it was, I think it was global cooling. The world was going to freeze, and then it was going to burn up, global warming again. And then now recently it's just climate change that's going to get us. So for every single day of our lives, we've been threatened with imminent apocalypse. Every single day of our lives, we've been told by the news and media that the world is fixing to come to a close. We're about, we've got this big thing that's about to kill us all. So, and that's not an exaggeration. That's how it has been the whole time. So, once, you live through about, I don't know, 20, 30 years of that, you get to the point where you're, whatever, a new apocalypse, okay. I lived through the last three, this this is probably gonna turn out like the other ones did, a big dud, nothing's going to happen. And it does, and nothing happens. So we know nothing's going to happen. We know these big apocalyptic scares that are all going to amount to a cup of shit. So we don't care. If the world is going to freeze or the world is going to burn or whatever, but it's going to nuclear holocaust, okay, we'll check in next week and see what it's going to be, because it's going to change. So there's that. And then we were raised on post-apocalyptic movies, Mad Max, The Terminator. These are the kind of movies we grew up with. These were our heroes, the post-apocalyptic survivors. So even if the apocalypse does happen, we know we're gonna be we're gonna be one of the rulers of it. We're gonna be the Mad Max. We're not gonna be one of the zombies. So we've already watched the Blue Book, the Blueprint, 1,000 times on VHS. Which a lot of you don't even know what that is, but we burn our VCRs up watching Mad Max and the Terminator and A Boy and His Dog, and there's just tons of post-apocalyptic movies from the 80s and stuff. There's a lot of music, post-apocalyptic music. So, but that's how we grew up, with a constant threat of apocalypse and a constantly watching stuff to learn how to survive it and thrive in that post-apocalyptic situation. So, hey, even if it's false, we all have an internal feeling that we'll be the survivors. That we're going to be okay, even if there is an apocalypse, because we watch so much of that stuff on TV. I mean, since we were little kids, watching Mad Max when I was 5. That is why we have thick skin. That is why we don't care. That's why we're just, turn a deaf ear to all this crap that's going on, because we've heard the worst of it. The world was going to end when we were little babies. We heard that stuff on the news before we could even walk or talk. That stuff has been constant in our life, a constant, never-ending apocalypse just around the corner. And it has been a different apocalypse every time. About every 10 years they change it. We were going to burn to death, freeze to death, nuclear blow up to death, whatever. We've heard it all. There's your answer. That's why we just don't give a shit. I hope this video was entertaining.
I mean, guys, after you go through, so many different crises, you just stop caring. Like, literally at this point, after the events of 2020, we don't care anymore. Like, we don't have it in us to give a damn. I'm a Zennial. I was born in 83. Feel like I was born earlier than that, but regardless. And my childhood was filled with so much crap, I can't care. Guys, when I was 5 years old, I pissed myself in kindergarten. My father came to the school and told me I thought he was going to bring me a change of underwear. No, he basically told me I have a couple of choices. I could sit in the piss, or I could go home and stay there by myself. I was 5. This is how we were raised. Our parents did not like us. They let us know that life was hard from the very beginning. All right. They put us through so much pain and suffering. It's impossible. They don't have empathy. That's something you also have to understand about the baby boomers. They don't have empathy. They give us painful and difficult lives. And as a result, we were forced to adapt and adapt rapidly, because if we didn't, we would not make it. They are the worst generation to ever walk the face of this awful earth. Okay. And I basically say it like this: they were here before us and they'll be here after us, because that's how these people are. And you know what? In the end, I just don't care. At this point in my life, I just want to be left the hell alone. Not having friends, do I have friends? Honestly, I'm trying my best to get rid of the ones that I do have right now. They pissed me off, and I just can't. I'm just in a like I'm in a mood where I just don't care. I just don't want to be bothered with anyone. You know, people are problems, and that's how a lot of Gen Xers are. They don't want to be bothered with anyone right now. They don't want to be bothered with anyone's problems, anyone's grief. They just want to be left the hell alone. I just want to get my money. And speaking of getting money, guys, you should be working on yourself and investing in cryptocurrency and getting your money up, because right now we're going to see a massive boom. And if you don't jump on it, you're going to miss it. Let me ask you something. When the banks collapse, and trust me, it's coming, will you be ready? Imagine waking up to ATMs that don't work, bank doors chained shut, and millions of people left with nothing. No cash, no access to their savings, and no way to survive. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy, to teach you everything you need to know about crypto so you can protect yourself and your family. You'll learn how to buy, sell, and even day trade crypto for a living. Plus, we alert you to new crypto trends so you can profit before everyone else even knows what's happening. Right now, I've just published an exclusive investment guide inside the Academy, and it's linked in the description below. In it, I reveal the one coin that could make you a millionaire. A coin so revolutionary, it could change everything. If you missed out on Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is your second chance. This isn't just about financial freedom, it's about survival. When the system collapses and everyone else is selling, you'll be the one buying, prepared to weather the storm and thrive while others struggle to survive. Don't wait. This knowledge isn't optional, it's critical. The link's in the description. Go check it out now. You know, there's actually a video I saw from Karen Morgan, and I found the video to be kind of interesting. And it's actually talks about Gen X a bit. It's pretty cool. And she goes into it why 70s kids are the strongest generation. She breaks it down very, very well. I'm going to link you guys to her channel. It'll be in the description. You can go and check her out. But let's go ahead and just jump right into the video.
Anybody? Who did I forget? X, yes! Actually, I didn't forget X. It's a little trick. Because I was born the first year of Gen X or the last year of Gen Jones, depending on which chart you look at. But everyone forgets Gen X. Even CBS News forgot Gen X last year. They did this whole thing on all the generations. They did silent generation, boomers, and then they skipped over 65 million of us Jan Brady's, and then they went right down to the millennials and the post-millennials. But here's all y'all need to know about Gen Xers. We don't care. We don't care. In fact, we kind of like it that you left us off your little list, CBS News, because we're like the secret dive bar that only the locals know about. We don't advertise, but we're never going out of business. Now, the boomers, and particularly the Gen Jonesers and the Gen Xers, we share some things in common. The first thing is we are strong people. We didn't need sunscreen. We just laid out on giant sheets of aluminum foil with baby oil and iodine, right? Hawaiian Tropic Red Label. We put our chairs up on the roof to get higher to the sun. We only turned over when the radio station told us to. Nobody care. We grew up in the way, way back seat of our mom's station wagon, rear facing at the people behind us, right? Just waving back there, just Nobody wore a seatbelt, not even in the front seat. If your mom's arm wasn't strong enough, you deserved to go through the windshield. But we didn't have helicopter parents back then. In fact, we had the opposite of helicopter parents. We had Home Depot parents, where you think there should be someone working in the store that can help you, but there's no one around. You're on your own. This is Home Depot. Do you need a skill saw? Well, there's only one left in the whole store, and it's way up there. So grab yourself one of those rolling staircases, my friend. Roll it over there, crawl, and don't pull it over on yourself and cut your arm off, because nobody's going to take you to the hospital. It's going to be your fault that you got hurt. Here's what you get: suck it up, blow on it, walk it off, rub some dirt on it, bleed over the sink. My mom's favorite was don't bleed on my shag carpet. I had a guy send me one the other day. It was like, let the dog lick it, it'll heal faster. Nobody cared if we were bored. Nobody cared what our grades were. Nobody cared that we were eating lunch out of a lunchbox filled with unrefrigerated dairy products and rust. Who had a rusty lunchbox? Yeah, we're all still here. And the thermoses didn't match because the first one, the one that came with it, got shattered. It's gone. It's gone. Nobody cared that we were being pummeled in the face by real red rubber dodgeballs. The real red, the ones that smelled like rubber coming at you. Not the little foamy baby ones they have now. The real red, it went twang when it hit you in the face. And it left a crosshatch print right on your forehead. Right there. Nobody cared. No one cared at all. Nobody cared about the emotional trauma that we sustained because of sea monkeys. Who had sea monkeys? See, I'm still not over sea monkeys. I paid my $1.25 out of the back of that comic book. I was supposed to get the whole sea monkey family. The mama sea monkey and the daddy sea monkey and junior sea monkey and little baby sea monkey. They lived in a castle. And they were going to come live with me, and I was supposed to be able to teach them tricks. That's not what we got. We got 3 envelopes in the mail filled with disappointment, deceit, and dehydrated brine shrimp. No one cared. No one cared that that woman on Romper Room never said my name. Never said my name in her stupid magic mirror, even though all day I was trying to walk on the romper stompers. Just 2 upside down plastic cups on a string. Just pop your ankle right off. They weren't as dangerous, though, as metal roller skates. So the metal roller skates, they kind of clamp to your shoe like this, right? You didn't get hurt because you were going fast, because you couldn't go fast because of the friction of the metal on the sidewalk. But about the 3rd one in, your shoe came right out of that thing. But you fell because it was still attached to your ankle with a little belt.
You know what's really interesting about it? For example, when I was growing up, I broke an ankle. My parents could care less. My father, guys, no one cared. Like when Gen X broke bones, no one cared. You could literally say, I can't walk. No one cares. They'll tell you to figure it out. I had to figure out how to live with a broken, I had a compound fracture. And back in those days, you know, you go to the hospital and the doctor would just look at you and say, just walk it off. I basically, this is how interesting. I actually broke my growth plate. And I broke my growth plate. And it was really nasty. I was in a lot of pain for a pretty long time. And I didn't know what to do. And you know, I was in a cast for almost 6 months. That was a compound fracture. And they just left it alone. I mean, the bone was I was almost sticking through the skin. and they just left it there. And then finally, eventually, like after months of telling my mother my leg's not healing, yeah, it did not heal. I go back to the doctor and he goes, it was much worse. The surgeon, yeah, he does an X-ray, another X-ray. He goes, oh, you see all those? Those are additional breaks. It was much worse than I realized in the first place. So what are you gonna do now? Nothing I can really do. I Guys, this is pretty much how it is. And then when I get older, I have this terrible play. I'd say to play football, and the coach finally, like, I had a coach, and I tell him I had I'm like, I have trouble walking, and he goes, you know, I go, but I had broken my ankle. I broke my growth plate, and he goes, that's never gonna heal. And I'm like, how would you know that? He goes, because I'm in my 30s now, and I broke my growth plate when I was your age, and it never healed. No one cares. That's what separates Gen X from other generations. We know the world is not fair. We know the world is a miserable place, and we've lived through so many we've lived through so many apocalyptic events that we're basically realizing at this point that it's just one big scam. And I will say this right now, and let me make it very clear: we are not fighting in anyone's wars. Okay, we are the generation that will fight for ourselves, but we will not fight for you. Leave us alone. That is the Gen X way. It's a big leave me alone. Okay, guys, we're heading into really hard times, and if you really want to separate yourself from the pack, go and learn about crypto. One of the great things you could do is learn how to day trade crypto. By the way, making like you can make guys, you can take $100, sit at your computer, work an hour a day, use the right applications and the bots, and you can basically easily make $30 a day doing nothing with $100. All right, realistically, and that works out to $900 a month. Think about that very carefully. Let's say you day trade $500, you can easily pull in about $100 a day, between 100 $200 a day, just day trading. If you were day trading, let's say $500, and it's an important skill to learn, especially we're heading into hard times, and the crypto markets are going to be booming. We actually built out a crypto blueprint for you guys, available in the academy, where we teach you how to day trade crypto. And it's so easy that even a fifth grader can understand. We actually have that linked in the description of the video so that you guys can go and check that out. I just want to tell you a little bit about the Crypto Trading for Dummies blueprint. With this blueprint, you'll learn how crypto day trading can help you earn daily profits, even starting small. Imagine making $30 a day with $100, or even hundreds daily trading small amounts. Working just an hour a day. It's written so simply that even a fifth grader can do it. With banks collapsing and the economy in chaos, this skill is your lifeline. Click the link in the description to check it out now. I mean, guys, that's just the reality what we live in right now. We live in a very hard world. We live in a very harsh world. And we know that things are not going to get better. It's only going to get worse, especially as things are going to get scrapped soon. All of these programs are going to get scrapped. And if you want to survive, you better have some hustle. You better have something going for yourself, because if you don't, you're screwed. Like, Gen X was, a lot of Gen Xers say that Gen X was like a special generation, was like a military, a CIA project to create like super soldiers. I don't know if I would go that far, but there's definitely something going on. The truth is that we were basically just the product of neglectful parents and a bit of CHILD, ABUSE. That's how this platform is. I have to basically spell it out, and then you can sound it out yourselves afterwards, but can't actually just say it outright. Point I'm trying to make is that as people who are born during the Gen X era, we know how hard life is, and that's why we're constantly grinding, and that's why we're constantly going. Like, the grind never really ends. And I think for most Gen Xers, they just want some peace. This is why I've had Gen Xers say that they don't even want to deal with their crappy Gen Z kids. The kids can have the damn house, and they'll stay in they'll be the ones to go stay in the basement and play video games in the basement, go play Super NES in the basement until the end of their days. And God, no, that sounds so beautiful right now. That sounds so wonderful. But at the same time, it's a lot of hard things are coming up. We're looking at a very harsh world around us and some seriously hard times. And I've said this before, as things get worse, men are going to be living simple lives of luxury and comfort, and women are going to be living lives of hardship and destitution because they've been handed everything in life. And now they're going to have to struggle because they don't know how to deal with hard times. But anyway, guys, Gen X doesn't care about anything. Let me know what you guys think about everything we discussed here today, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA and walking away. And cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.